What is going on, y'all? Gamers Goon here today with your wheel that is going to decide our March Madness bracket. As you can see, we have one underdog, we have 4 gut picks, and we have 5 chalks. So that gives us a 10% chance of winning with an underdog, a 40% chance of just going with my gut, who I think might win, and then a 50% chance of chalk. And I felt like that might be the way to go about it. So here for the very first one, we gotta come in here and make a bracket. We gotta come and build a bracket. This is the second bracket that we are making on this account. There's the AI bracket that had Houston winning. Create a bracket. Here we go. Started with Auburn. It should just be Auburn, but maybe. Yeah, my gut's telling me Auburn. My gut is telling me Auburn. My gut is gonna say Auburn there. I wish those wouldn't pop up. I know they popped up in the last video. I do need to turn down the sound a little bit because it is a little too loud for me. Our next game, Louisville versus Creighton. The high seed will always be considered the better seed will always be considered the underdog or the chalk pick. So we get gut here. And I've been bouncing back and forth here. We're going to go look at the preview a little bit. Obviously, Creighton going to be a popular pick in my opinion. They have Ryan Cockburner. Louisville has Chucky Hepburn, Terrence Edwards, Stephen Ashworth's back. Creighton hasn't looked particularly impressive this season in my opinion. They have a couple of decent wins. They had that Kansas win, a UConn team weaker than usual, beat them. Marquette, a solid win. St. John's didn't look very good. Louisville, on the other hand, has a North Carolina win, beat a pretty good Clemson team, hasn't won the big games against Duke, Tennessee, whatever. Very similar teams. It's going to be a fun first round matchup. I'm going with Louisville. I don't know why. I just have it in my mind that Louisville might make a run. Experienced team, has a couple seniors there that they brought in. I'm just going to ride it with Louisville. So Michigan versus UC San Diego, a popular spot for an upset. So we'll see if the wheel does it for us. The wheel says no upset. We're going chalk. We're going chalk with this Michigan UC San Diego pick. Trendy upset pick there. UC San Diego, one of the better teams coming into the tournament at the moment. A&M versus Yale. A&M versus Yale. We're going to spin it. Gut. My gut. Ooh. My gut. Yale versus A&M. You'll remember with this Yale team, Pulakidis, this dude was there last year. Pretty solid player. They obviously don't have Danny Wolf anymore. Wade Taylor, Zurich Phillips. A&M, too deep, too athletic. I don't see how they are going to stop. Yale's going to stop them. I just don't see it. Ole Miss versus SD or UNC. So this first spin will be for SDSU and UNC. We will have SDSU as, if it lands on anything other than chalk, so underdog and gut will be SDSU, or if it lands on chalk, it will be UNC. So they both have a 50-50 chance. Here we go. And it's going to be UNC. It's going to be UNC. UNC is advancing. And we got a spin for them to play against Ole Miss. Ole Miss, UNC. Obviously, Ole Miss is now the chalk pick. And it stays at chalk. Ole Miss getting the job done. Iowa State versus Lipscomb. Lipscomb, not a super popular pick here for an upset, but a team that is getting a good draw coming up against an Iowa State team that has some injuries going on right now. And you look at Lipscomb, they're a team that's been pretty solid all year. We'll do a little preview here. It's had chalk, right? No, it went gut. My gut is probably chalky, though. This dude, watch out for him, 20 point per game score. But yeah, Keyshawn Gilbert hurt. Lipsy's been banged up. So you're there trying to overcome that. But you look at Lipscomb. Arkansas wasn't a great game. Kentucky wasn't a great game. When they've gotten to face these bigger opponents, they haven't done really that well. I just can't. I can't justify Lipscomb winning. I really can't. It's going to be Iowa State. Marquette versus New Mexico. Marquette versus New Mexico. New Mexico, a team I think I might pick in my final bracket. A team that I really like. Okay. Do we do it here? We're gonna obviously in these ones that we get to go gut. We are gonna go look at the info they give us. Cam Jones, obviously, David Joplin, Donovan Dent, somebody you're gonna have to watch out for. Marquette, you look at him. Not a particularly great season. A lot of L's against big teams. Purdue, solid win. You look at New Mexico, on the other hand, a UCLA team that is in the tournament. They beat, I believe, Marquette. Did they? Yeah, they lost to St. John's a couple times also. I zoomed in there for some reason. St. John's, both of them lost. You can't really tell too much from that. I'm going to go with my gut. Something's telling me New Mexico. I'm picking New Mexico. Dent's going to be too much for him to handle. Marquette, you look at him. Actually, I guess we can read the little blurb that they put about him. Top scorer, Cam Jones. They play fast pace, shoot a lot of threes. Solid defenders. Points off turnovers are going to be crucial. 3-pointers. If New Mexico can go in there, rebound, limit them to one possession, I think they get the win. Michigan State versus Bryant. Haven't got an upset yet. We'll see if it's here. We will see if it is here. All these ads are making my computer run so slow. We get a gut pick here. A gut pick here. I don't think we need to look at it for a gut. Michigan State is going to win that game. So we'll go to the Duke side of the bracket now. And we'll get chalk. We will get chalk here in the Duke side of the bracket. So Duke, congratulations. You are winning. Mississippi State versus Baylor. Let's spin it here. And we're getting chalk or gut. Okay, Mississippi State winning their game. Oregon versus Liberty. I'm starting to talk myself into Liberty beating Oregon. I know I'm an Oregon fan. Liberty, the more I look at them, the more I'm scared. High volume 3-point shooting team. A team that doesn't particularly give up that many points. A team that could be kind of fit all the mold of a March Madness bracket buster. I'm going with Oregon, but Liberty, the more I look at them, they are scaring me. And you'll look here. This guy, that's going to be their leading. So, yeah, Taylor Peter, 14 points a game. I believe a lot of their team shoots above 40 from 3. Kata Matheny. You look at Oregon, you're going to want Shellstad getting hot. You want Biddle to be a solid piece. I think Liberty does have a big or two that maybe can try to limit Biddle. But yeah, Biddle, you're gonna have to have him kind of dominate this game because I think he will be the best player on the court. But then you got a lot of 3-point shooting here. A lot of 3-point shooting. It fits the mold of that Oakland type Jack Golke style. You don't want to run into a hot 3-point shooting team in March Madness because Liberty's a team that could quickly make it to the Sweet 16 if they are hitting. Arizona versus Akron, another popular upset pick. The Zips having a good year. Let's see if they're going to be a chalky pick. So Arizona going to advance for now. BYU versus VCU. VCU, another popular upset pick here. I don't really know how big of an upset it would be considered, considering, I don't know, VCU is pretty good. And, we almost got to that upset. We almost got there to the upset. But chalk will do, and we are going with BYU. Wisconsin versus Montana. Montana, not a particularly great team when it's come to playing the top talent this season. This is going to be another one. Nope, it's going to be chalk again. Wisconsin, it is there. St. Mary's versus Vandy. We'll go St. Mary's versus Vandy. Chalk again. And I know chalk is at 50% in this, which is just the way I put up with it. So that's just what we're doing. But St. Mary's wins, and it's not that unlikely that there's some chalk to the bracket. Maybe we'll get some non-chalk at the bottom. But New Mexico State was a gut pick, so we do have that one for us right now as one of those teams. We're trying to eliminate the part where I overthink it. We're letting a wheel do it. We're letting a wheel decide, and the wheel has decided that we are on gut here for that one. And this is Alabama. Yeah. I mean, we can look at, no, we don't really need to look at the 2 versus 5, do we really? Robert Morris coming off a good year, a couple good players there. Big game, they lost. They haven't really played anybody. Even Ohio they lost to. Not a team I'm really looking at as much of a threat. So we're going to go to the bottom part of the bracket now. Florida, Norfolk State. Let's see what we get here. A gut pick, it looks like. And my gut is telling me Florida. There's not much need to be said. Florida playing some of the best basketball in the country. UConn versus Oklahoma. Let's see what we do. I hate these ads. I think they're what's making the computer run a little slow. A gut pick here versus UConn and Oklahoma. UConn and Oklahoma. We're going with my gut. UConn's the correct pick in my opinion. They're obviously going. A lot of people are going to expect them. They have Solo Ball, Liam McNeely, healthy with Liam McNeely. They've been pretty solid. They picked it up. They got Diarra there. They got Reed there from Michigan last year. Oklahoma, you look at them. A nice win against Arizona. Hasn't been particularly great when it comes to the quad ones. Jeremiah Fears is the name you're going to watch out for. If Oklahoma is to get the job done, it is on the back of a guy like Jeremiah Fears. I really wanted to come in here and pick Oklahoma to win a game or two because I really like this Oklahoma team. But UConn, I know people are gonna be like, well, you can't pick UConn to win because they just won last year and this team's not as good, and a lot of people might stay away from UConn is what I'm getting at. UConn's still going to win this game. I don't see Oklahoma being enough. So that is where my gut relies there. I would love to see Jeremiah Fears and company win. The next one is going to be some chalk. Looks like it's going to be some chalk. Get the chalk out. Get the chalk out. Memphis versus Colorado State. Memphis winning. I think Colorado State has a chance, but it's telling me to go chalky. Maryland versus Grand Canyon. Grand Canyon actually is bringing back that Grant Foster or Tyon Foster Grant or whatever his name is. They're bringing him back. They are bringing him back into March Madness. A popular guy from last year, somebody we all thought maybe could be a tournament darling. Maryland, one of the hotter teams in the country right now. I know they are coming off of a loss, but yeah, Grant Foster. I know he was hurt a little bit this season, but then you look at Maryland, and I've been talking myself into this Maryland team, man. They got 5 guys in that starting lineup that can all get 20 points if they need it. Obviously led by Derek Queen, Jacoby Gillespie, as you can see, but they also have Julian Reese, another big man that can get a quick 20 if needed. And if Derek Queen's in foul trouble, then they go to Julian Reese. Not a super deep team with Maryland, so they maybe could get in some trouble, but all 5 guys on the court, all 5 guys on the court to start the game are dangerous. Maryland has the recipe to beat GCU, and it's a gut pick. GCU, I would love to see win another one because I don't really want to handle with that Maryland team for the rest of the tournament. If one of my teams had to run into them, I don't think it will fare well, obviously, because Illinois didn't fare well twice. But we get a gut pick here, Missouri versus Drake. We're going to look into it a little bit. Drake, completely new team with Drake, new coach. The new coach brought all of his D2 guys with him. A Drake team that has a big winning over Vandy. Kansas State, a pretty solid win. Bradley, they knocked them out from making the tournament. FAU, not a great season for them. Miami, solid. Drake, a little bit stronger than I think people are thinking. Missouri, on the other hand, Illinois lost close. Auburn, not a great loss. Played Tennessee close. Played Kentucky close. Did okay against Florida. Missouri's better than what people are giving credit. They're not a true 6 seed. Don't fall for the Drake is going to win this. Missouri is winning. Texas Tech versus UNC Wilmington. When will we get our first underdog win? When will we do that? Is it even going to be a round 1 underdog win? Or is it going to be UNC Wilmington? That's close. Oh, it's chalk. It is chalk. Wow. Texas Tech avoiding upset there. Kansas versus Arkansas. We'll see what happens here. Kansas versus Arkansas. We're going with the gut. My gut's telling me Arkansas. My gut is telling me Arkansas. We can go look at it. 2 teams been solid. Hunter Dickinson, solid year, but not. Oh yeah, Boogie Fland I think is playing in this tournament. Adu Thero, not completely sure. But this Kansas team has just been really bad this season. Iowa State, bad loss. Houston, solid loss. Texas Tech, solid loss. Houston, solid loss. Arizona, not a great loss. Arkansas, another up and down team. Didn't look good against Illinois. Tennessee, they hung in there with Florida. They beat Kentucky. They beat Texas, some tournament teams. The more I think about it, I got to go Kansas. I talked myself out of Arkansas there. St. John's versus Omaha. Omaha, first time in the dance. Can they be our first underdog really to win? And they are not. It's going to be a gut pick. My gut is telling me that St. John's is going to make a deep run. So St. John's, you held them off. Houston versus SIUE, another team I would like to see win. Are we going to see it, though, out of SIUE? We are. It doesn't look like we are. The gut pick. It's gonna have to be Houston. I know it's chalky. It's looking pretty chalky. I'll give it to you. It is looking pretty chalky. Gonzaga versus Georgia. Now this is one where I think I might go Georgia, but the wheel is telling me chalk. The wheel is telling me chalk. I'll respect the wheel's wishes. I will respect the wheel's wishes. Gonzaga advancing. McNeese Clemson, a big one. A big one. A lot of people are watching it. I'm really high on this Clemson team personally, but we're going to go. It doesn't matter. We're going to go a chalky pick. Anyways, so there we have it there. Purdue versus High Point. Purdue versus High Point. I like this High Point team. Are we going to get chalk or are we going to get gut? We are going to get gut. This might be the moment. We don't have any upsets. I think I might need to take it in my own hands. High Point does have one 7-footer, I believe. We're going to look at him. Trey Kaufman-Renn, their best player right now. I know people will say Braden Smith he shoots the ball pretty well, facilitates the offense. Purdue didn't wrap up the season the most ideal way. Guard heavy team really with Purdue. If you can get Trey Kaufman-Renn, I think you might be able to win. UAB is a team that had Yaxel Lundenberg, a team that they were able to figure out. North Texas coming off of a good season, probably could have been a tournament team. High Point beat them. UNC Asheville, another decent team. Yeah, one of the best rebounders in the country with Juslin Bodo. If I mispronounce that, sorry. But yeah, this dude was the guy I was talking about. They do have a guy maybe to match up against Kaufman-Renn. They can shoot the ball pretty well. High scoring offense. Purdue first round. Matt Painter first round. I'm going with High Point as our first major upset here in this bracket. My gut is telling me it. Chalk. We get chalk right after such a big upset. Wow. Well, Illinois. If we're gonna do chalk, we might as well let Illinois chalk it up. Kentucky versus Troy. Another one where I can talk myself into Troy, and I think I have been talking myself into Troy. Solid defensively team. Kentucky a little banged up. And we get to have that discussion right now. Troy versus Kentucky. Troy, solid season. Kentucky, same thing there. Here's their best scores. You look at Kentucky, they have some big wins. They beat Duke, they beat Gonzaga, they beat Tennessee twice. Those are impressive wins. You look at Troy, didn't fare too well against Oregon or Arkansas or Houston. So you might be like, hey, maybe they're just going to run into, hey, it's a really good team, but when you get a better athlete on the other side, they haven't really matched up well. This is a team that is going to slow you down. It is going to slow you down. It is going to rebound the ball pretty well. Kentucky coming in banged up. Can we see who is out on this Kentucky team? Okay, so I'm gonna have to go to the score here to fully tell you who is out, because it doesn't say here, and I don't remember off the top of my head. Is this a Tuesday game, or what day is this game? It looks like, not a Tuesday, it looks like it's a Friday game. Yeah, it is. Kerr Kriisa out, Jackson Robinson out. Kerr Kriisa is a maybe. So this is a team right now that they're playing on. They still got some guys, but they're playing without a couple decent players there for them. Troy. I just don't know. OA's impressed me. Bray is there. I think Kentucky wins. I think it's going to be closer than people expect, though. we're gonna stick with Kentucky. We're not gonna flake away from Kentucky. Utah State versus whichever I forget who they play. I just looked right past them, to be honest. It will go the chalky pick anyway, so it won't be Utah State. It will be UCLA getting the job. And then for Tennessee versus Robert Morris, we get chalk. Very chalky first round. Or no, not Robert Morris. They play Wofford. My apologies. We get chalk anyways. So there we have it. There's our whole first round. And I think what we're going to do is we're just going to fill out to this side of the bracket. And then we'll meet once again in the final four. So Auburn versus Louisville. We will spin it here. And this is where Louisville, our first major upset, comes to play. Wow. This is something that in my family bracket, In my family bracket, I did predict, spoiler alert, in my family bracket, I had Louisville going to the Final Four. I was just making some random stuff happen. I was like, Auburn hasn't been very good lately. If they come into a good Louisville team, maybe they have a hiccup and Louisville gets an easier matchup with Michigan, who's fallen off a little bit. Maybe you get Iowa State. Anyways, Louisville is a team that I think could make a run. That's basically what I'm getting at. Now, my family bracket is my official bracket, but it's my official family bracket because I just make one off the top of my head with the family bracket. Louisville was one of my tournament darlings, and they are the Wheels tournament darling as well. Now we get to the next game here. It's going to spin, and it's going to be a gut or a chalk pick. It's going to be chalk. It's going to be chalk, and the chalky pick is A&M. Wow, I would... If it was a gut, I think I would have took Michigan, but it's chalk. It's chalk. Ole Miss versus Iowa State. The only way this is going to be Ole Miss is if it's an underdog pick. I'm telling you, I'm not high on this Ole Miss team. And it's a chalky pick anyways. We don't even have to try to justify it going through previews or anything. Iowa State getting the job done. New Mexico versus Michigan State. Michigan State coming into the tournament pretty good. Jace Richardson there, obviously. Cohen Carr been pretty good for him. You got Trey Holloman pretty good for him. This is where I struggle though. I didn't want to have to pick. I'm gonna be honest. I just was hoping it would say chalk or underdog. Yes, I know Michigan State has some good wins. So does the Lobos. You look at the Lobos. They put up points. Defense really stands out. A team that I think could make the run. But Michigan State, on the other hand, that part right there, I don't know if you have enough answers for the Jace Richardsons, for the Atkins, for the Jaden Atkins. I don't know if you have enough answers for when Trey Holloman gets hot, or when Jackson Kohler gets hot, or when Cohen Carr gets a couple big dunks and gets the energy flowing for Michigan State. Michigan State's going to win. So we'll do the Sweet 16 now here. Louisville versus A&M. Are we getting a chalk or are we getting the underdog pick here with Louisville? And I'm telling you right now, if we go gut, something's telling me about this Louisville team. Chucky Hepburn and company from Louisville. Let's preview it. We're not gonna make a rash decision and go Louisville just yet. Terrence Edwards there. Wade Taylor, really good player. He's gonna draw some fouls from the 3-point line. You would expect. Zurich Phillips, really good player. Chucky Hepburn, a guy I like. Played at Wisconsin. Hasn't been particularly great against the top opponents, but they do beat a good UNC team. They handled Clemson, who I like. Then you get to A&M, a decent Purdue team they won. Texas Tech, a good team they won. A tournament Texas they won. Didn't look very great in here. They beat a solid Auburn team. I think Auburn, when they beat them, was less impressive. Who's been better lately? They beat Auburn lately. they have that Clemson win here. They have that Clemson win here this month, and they played Duke. Obviously, Duke's really tough out. I think I'm gonna ride with Louisville. I just think Louisville is a little bit better off here than A&M. And then we get Iowa State versus Michigan State, another one. We'll see what they do, and it's going to be chalk, so we're not going to have to go into the preview here. But Michigan State making an Elite Eight, and Louisville versus Michigan State. We're going to spin it. We're going to see what they have happen here, and it is going to be chalk. Michigan State makes their way on in to the Final Four. Not the most unrealistic of things. I think if Auburn does get bounced early, Michigan State could make a run. So not completely unrealistic. When we get to the other side, the Duke side, we'll see what happens here with Duke and Mississippi State. It's going to be chalk or gut. It's going to be gut, which I'm gonna spoil it. We're gonna go over here, and we're still gonna look at the preview, but the answer is Duke. Duke. Here's the thing about Duke: they've been beating people pretty good recently. They even beat people without Cooper Flag. Now they are gonna have Cooper Flag. It sounds like Mississippi State can have some good wins here and there, but the top tier teams, they haven't really been beaten. Played well here. But the top tier teams, they just haven't been beaten. They can beat some solid teams, some middle of the pack, like a A&M, a team that could be top 25, but not the upper echelon. They don't handle Duke well. They don't handle Duke well. Oregon versus Arizona. Can we get an underdog here? It's the end of the road for my Oregon Ducks. Arizona, the chalky pick. We don't even have to go into the preview. BYU versus Wisconsin. I like this BYU team. I can talk myself into it if it's a gut pick here. But it's gonna be an underdog pick anyways. So BYU, we don't even have to talk you into it. The bracket is telling me take BYU, and you know what? I did that in my family bracket also. I like this BYU team. I think they're a team that could get hot. We'll wait till a preview to go deeper into them maybe. St. Mary's versus Alabama. St. Mary's, a sneaky good team. As a 7th seed, kind of disgusting. But the bracket's saying, hey, don't even worry about it. You're going chalk. You are taking Bama. Duke Zona, BYU Bama. So Duke Zona, obviously Duke is the chalk here. And we are going to get another underdog. Wow. Or we're going to get gut. We're going to get another underdog. The underdogs are starting to pick up here. They're starting to pick up, and we're going Arizona, which we don't have to preview it because it wasn't a gut pick, but Arizona, not a team I'd expect to beat Duke, but the bracket's telling me to do it. BYU versus Alabama. It's going to spin, and it is going to be a gut pick. Ooh. I wish this wasn't a gut pick, I'm going to be honest. I do want to go in here, though, to look at BYU. Richie Saunders, their guy. Igor Demon was almost an Illini last year. He's going to be probably a lottery pick, if not, at worst, a top round 1 guy. My do not disturb. Okay, it needs to be on. I was just making sure. But BYU, a team that can get high from 3. Alabama, obviously high-powered offense. If you can slow them down, you might stand a chance. That Houston game didn't look good for them. Baylor's a good win. Kansas is a solid win. Arizona's a good win. Iowa State twice is a good win. Houston obviously is Houston. But we don't really run into anybody here that looks like Alabama, do we? Houston, they beat. Carolina, they beat. A&M, they beat. Auburn, not so well. Tennessee, not so well. Florida, not so well. Auburn, a victory. Florida. This one's tough. This one really is tough because I look at BYU and I don't really see anybody that they beat that stands out, that really has the Alabama mold, the high-scoring mold, the fun, exciting, we're going to put up 100 points mold. They played a couple teams here that the game got high-scoring, but they haven't really ran into anybody like lack of size in the front court. You're going to, I think Grant Nelson's going to be playing. If not, they brought in Cliff Amarui, so I just don't see it. It's got to be Alabama. It's got to be Alabama there. Arizona versus Bama. Arizona versus Bama. I like that BYU team, though. They could get hot. They could win that tournament, or not the tournament, the game. Maybe they win the tournament. Maybe. Who knows? Maybe, who knows? A gut pick here from Alabama versus Arizona. Another one we're going to get to go in and preview. This right here will be a high-scoring game. Arizona, big wins against Iowa State once. Texas Tech, they beat. Really good Texas Tech team. Played close against Houston twice. Didn't look great against Duke. Alabama's beat Houston. I think I'm leaning towards Alabama. Another Final Four run in back-to-back years for Alabama. Then we're going to go down to the bottom. And we're going to see with Florida and Norfolk State. Florida and who is it? Where are they playing? They might need to be concerned. Nope, it's chalk. It is chalk. Florida is beating UConn. Okay, that was right. It was UConn. I hate that it does that. UConn. Memphis versus Maryland. Memphis versus Maryland. I'm not high on this Memphis team, but let's see if the wheel is. It's going to be a chalk pick or a gut pick. It's going to be chalk. It's going to be chalk. Yeah, Maryland should win that game. Maryland should win that game. We don't have to preview it because it's a chalk pick, but Maryland should win that game. Texas Tech versus Missouri. Texas Tech versus Missouri. We'll see what happens here. This is going to be a chalk pick again. Texas Tech coming out on top. Why does it do that? Kansas versus St. John's. St. John's a team I'm really been on for pretty much all the season. I've been really, really high on them for a lot of the season. St. John's has been my kind of my darling here when it's come to the tournament. I've been talking about them since probably before Christmas. They are my team. Got great defense here. Patino has got these boys right. RJ Luis, really good. I don't really know how to pronounce this game. Ojefor, I think is how you pronounce this guy's name. But they got Kadari Richmond there. They just got a lot of talent here. That could be really, really dangerous. Kadari Richmond. And I think Kadari, I think RJ Luis is somebody that could make it maybe to the league. But Kadari Richmond is somebody that I think could really take over the tournament. Not a great shooting team, but they slow the pace down. They kick good shots. They don't really shoot too many threes. They play good defense, hard-nosed defense. You look at a Kentucky team here that has been really streaky pretty much all season. You got a Duke win, but an Iowa State, Houston loss. Iowa State win, Texas Tech loss, Houston loss, Arizona win, loss. Back and forth all around. It doesn't matter. They haven't been particularly good. At one point, Christian Braun said something along the lines that you got to get people that want to play at Kansas. Kind of throwing shade at some of these transfers that they brought in, the Hunter Dickinsons, the Zeke Mayos, the AJ Stores. I don't really think it was as much of a shot on Zeke Mayo, maybe. But really, this Kansas team has been kind of a disaster all season. They are a good team when they are playing well. They are a bad team when they are not clicking. Very similar to an Illinois. There's a lot of teams like that in this tournament, but Illinois is the team I watch the most. When they're at their best, they can beat a lot of teams. I mean, they beat an Arizona that's a 4 seed. They beat an Iowa State that's a 3 seed. They beat Duke. But they also are susceptible to some questionable losses. St. John's, I haven't got much of that this year. I'm going with St. John's to win that game. So this is a very chalky region. 1, 4, 3, 2. So the top 4 seeds all making it to the Sweet 16. We will see if Florida or Maryland wins. I could talk myself into Maryland, but I don't even get to. That was a quick chalk, a really quick chalk here with this. So Florida, not the Florida Panthers, Florida going to advance and beat Maryland. Spoiler alert, I also had Maryland, I think, beating Florida in one of my brackets. I think that was my family bracket. I'm going to get chalk here, so I think that means we are going to take Texas Tech out of here. We are going to have St. John's advance. St. John's versus Florida. St. John's versus Florida now. To send it to the Final Four, we get... wow. We're going to get chalk. We're going to get Florida. We're going to get Florida in the Final Four, meeting up with Michigan State. And then we get to go to this side of the bracket, where we get Houston versus Gonzaga. Houston versus Gonzaga. Do we get a little bit of magic? We don't. I don't think get any magic. Yeah, we're not getting any magic. Houston handles business with Gonzaga. Gonzaga might be a popular upset pick here, because of the name brand. Gonzaga, really good analytical team. I guess we don't get a look at it since we didn't go to Guts. But yeah, a team that I think maybe could pull off the upset. Clemson versus High Point. Does the High Point run continue? I'm very high on this Clemson team, so just so you know, if it goes to Gut, it's gonna beat Clemson. I love this High Point team, but I'm really high on Clemson. I know Clemson's a little banged up. One of their players is out. Chase Hunter should still be there. A team that's been playing pretty well. They lost to that Louisville team I like. Beat UNC, obviously. Beat SMU, Duke. They beat some tough teams. That Memphis loss looks bad. I just think Memphis is really bad this year. Kentucky, a solid win. Penn State, not a great win, but it's a solid win. Then you go to the High Point. Just beat Purdue. They got you your big upset. I don't know if they could do it 2 times in a row. Clemson, give it to me. Illinois versus Kentucky. I think if Illinois can get past that first game, they win. Now the question is, do they get past the first game? They do. They already did. They beat the Texas Xavier round. This is a guts pick. You look at Illinois, finally healthy. I know the last game they didn't do too well. They lost to Maryland pretty badly. They were able to bounce back against whether it's Texas or Xavier, according to this bracket. Kentucky, like I said, a little banged up. Maybe you get Kirk Kriisa in here. I still think Illinois, the favorites there, if that game were to come to fruition. And then UCLA versus Tennessee. Shout out to my boy Cam. Can Illinois and Tennessee run into each other? We will see here. It is going to be an underdog or a gut. It's going to be gut. Okay. UCLA versus Tennessee. We are going with the gut here. So we do have to look into it. Bilodeau, somebody that could stretch the floor, maybe cause some problems for Tennessee. A lot of guards here. They're all pretty much the same. They just got a lot of talented guards that they can throw at you. I don't know all of their names, but I know Sky Clark is there. Yeah, they're not even gonna give me all their names. So I'm gonna pull them up here because I want to give them some credits, but they're a bunch of guys that are pretty much dudes that are gonna go and they can get hot. Yeah, they have Sky Clark, who averages 8. Dylan Andrews, who I think had a pretty good game against Illinois, if I remember correctly. He had 15 against Oregon, which might be the game I'm remembering. Against Illinois, he only had 9. Yeah, so those two, they have Kobe Johnson. It's been pretty good. Sebastian Mack, another pretty good player. Eric Daly. So a lot of guys that can get hot. Not guys that are consistently torturers, but they're guys that on the right day could go get you 15 points. So if it's the right day, Tennessee might be in trouble, but my gut is telling me Tennessee. Chaz Lanier, really, really good, playing kind of that Dalton Connect role. Zakai Ziegler, one of the most experienced players in the country, really, really good defender, by the way. Setting up from what was an early season 2-point game loss at the State Farm Center. Illinois probably should have won, gave up a buzzer beater to Chaz Lanier to end the game. So then we get to, I was going to go, I don't know why I was going on my phone. We're going to finish it off here. Chalk, wow. Well, this bracket thing loves Houston. Loves them. They're not even letting Houston spin, really. So Houston versus Clemson is a win for Houston. Illinois is a big spin. It's going to be chalk. Tennessee versus Houston. Tennessee versus Houston. My Illini's run ends in the Sweet 16. I'd be happy with that, to be honest. I don't know how great I think this Illinois team is in terms of where they make it, but I think their ceiling could be making a run, but I just don't know if they'll get there. I'm worried more so about this than I am this or this. That game, I feel like we could easily come out flat and really lose, and it wouldn't even matter if we run into a Kentucky or a Troy or who comes out on that bottom side or if Houston gets eliminated. I'm not worried about those things yet with Illinois. Houston versus Tennessee. We will see who goes to the Final Four. My assumption is it's going to be Houston because this thing loves Houston. And it's going to be chalky. It's going to be chalky. Which means Houston making their way. Is this the second bracket in a row that we have let be decided via this thing? There's like the AI picked Houston, and does the wheel also pick Houston? We'll start with the Michigan State Florida game. We'll start with the Michigan State Florida game. It's gonna be chalk. So Florida making it to the Natty. Shades of the Joakim Noah style of Florida, where they were going to the championship. Houston versus Bama. Let's see here. Chalk. Wow. Houston. Back-to-back finals in these videos. Do they win? We will say chalk is Houston. Everything else is Florida. Does Houston win a second video in a row? They do. Wow. All my methods are leading towards Houston. Every single one of them. And we'll throw out maybe 164, maybe. I don't know. I don't know. But this is the second bracket in a row that Houston's won for us. Kind of shocking. Anyways, thank you for watching, and I will see you all next time. Later today, there will be my personal bracket 1.0. There'll be a few versions of that. And then maybe later tonight we'll get another simulation type where I'm not making the pick, something else is doing it for me. Anyways, thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.